Talk of ADHD seems to be everywhere these days. Perhaps you or your child has ADHD. Oftentimes, the whole family shares in this condition. It is good that we're hearing a lot about it, but what's concerning is that collectively, our culture seems to be buying into myths and stereotypes around ADHD instead of getting to understand the facts. ADHD is one of the most misconstrued, misunderstood, and sadly dismissed of all neurological conditions. And unfortunately, this lack of awareness can be really harmful, especially to young people with ADHD. So, in this episode, you are going to learn what not to say to someone with ADHD. My name is Annie Adjen, and I am your academic advocate, your coach, and your compassionate resource for parenting and managing ADHD at home and in school. Go ahead and help yourself to this little packet of gold at the link. It is a free collection of evidence based tools that I have created just for you to empower you. And they are all easy tools, very effective in helping your student gain traction in everything academic. And our parents utilize these tools as much as the students do. They are just that impactful. So please don't miss out on clicking that link and helping yourself. So, okay, let's pretend for a moment that you're a person who has asthma and pretend that you're having a flare up and having trouble breathing. Well, most likely it's safe to assume that you would get yourself to the doctor and get an inhaler for immediate relief, right? No doubt about it. You would keep that inhaler close by and use it whenever necessary. Next, I want you to pretend that you might be prone to intermittent bouts of depression. Well, it would be very normal and recommended to seek out a psychotherapist for counseling and widely acceptable to take your prescribed medications. And finally, the last example, imagine for a minute, let's say that your child wasn't reading by about the second grade and you suspected that she might have dyslexia. Well, I think that you would request meetings with the guidance counselor, special education team, and see to it that a full evaluation take place to get an accurate diagnosis and to get your child all of the educational services that she needs to be successful. Right? Yes. Right? I trust that your automatic answer to all those scenarios is, well, yeah, of course. And in those cases, then it would be entirely unconscionable to say to the asthmatic, oh, you're having an attack? Just breathe deeper. You would never say to the depressed person, why don't you try meditating on rainbows and sunshine and think happy thoughts to get better? And you would never tell a child who has dyslexia to read faster or make her read out loud in front of the classroom if she wasn't comfortable. Safe assumptions, right? I hope. So why, when someone says that they have ADHD, do we typically hear these flippant comments like, oh, everyone has ADHD these days? Or you have ADHD? That's okay. I get it, but you can push through it. Just try hard. I've seen you do it before. You can do it again. Or, oh, I know. You want to get those pills so you can give them to somebody else, right? How about this one? Yeah, I know. I had ADHD too when I was young, just like you, but look at me. Breakthrough. I'm successful. These are all examples of things that you do not want to say to someone who has ADHD. Those responses are misinformed, disrespectful, and they make the person with ADHD feel dismissed. ADHD is real, and it is really hard to live with. It's also hard for our loving parents and our hardworking teachers to manage it in their homes and in their classrooms. ADHD is made ever harder still when the public belittles the condition and patronizes people with it. It is a developmentally impaired portion of the brain. It's an impairment to cognitive functioning and self regulation. ADHD strains family relationships. It's an obstacle to academic success. So let's not add to the hardship with our ignorance. Getting your brain to behave is when you have ADHD is like trying to catch a fish with your hands. It's next to impossible to get the job done, and you just get exhausted trying. Teens with ADHD are not trying to be bad or obstinate or manipulative. They just can't do what you expect them to do because they don't yet have the executive skills necessary to complete the task. ADHD is a complex deficiency in the frontal lobes of the brain. It's a serious condition, and so we all need to be talking about it in an appropriate and well informed manner. So, here are some positive ways to respond to someone who has ADHD, and these are helpful statements that invite constructive dialogue. You could say, "So, I'm hearing a lot about ADHD these days. What's your experience with it?" You could try saying, "What have you learned about ADHD? I'm curious and I'd like to learn what it really is. What have you found that helps you manage it? What are some things you wish people knew about ADHD?" And lastly, you could say, "What do you need from a friend like me to help you?" These are ways to take your learning deeper and guaranteed ways to show your friend or loved one that you really care. You are educating yourself just by listening and learning with me here today. And that, just that alone, is very commendable. So dive deeper into the content that I've made for you, and you will reach others and you will help your community. Help your community move closer to a clearer understanding of this condition, and you'll help get more adequate support to the families struggling and living with ADHD. So be the courageous change agent and set the record straight. If you hear a glib comment or an inaccurate claim or statement about ADHD, you can set the record straight. Be a friend to that sometimes awkward kid at school who has ADHD. You really might be their only friend. You might be the only buddy there when they make painful social mistakes, which are part of the typical behaviors of ADHD, and you can help cover for them, help them bounce back and boost their confidence. You and your new knowledge and awareness now are going to make a big difference towards shifting this current ADHD paradigm towards more accuracy and understanding, awareness, and compassion. It's really important. I would love for you to share with me how this shows up in your life. Also, I urge you to share with me any related topics that you'd like to understand more deeply. Please email me with any inquiries related to parenting, the adolescent brain, ADHD, of course, but any aspects of best practices for academic success are my expertise, brain hacks, parenting hacks, and most importantly, especially anything that's creating acute pain points at home for you and your child. I would be happy to curate a special episode just for you. That was my doggy right down here shaking out after his nap. Thank you, parents, for being the best parents that you can be every day and for shaping your community. Don't sign off without grabbing your little packet of free gold from Annie Adjin Academic ADHD Coaching.